Welcome to Mind Your Heart podcast, your favorite corner of the internet where we chat about all things mental health. I'm Emily.
And I'm Trina. Together, we're like your real life Lorelai and Rory Gilmore. Each week, we'll bring you real conversations about the world of mental health, and we will peel back layers on topics like anxiety, depression, and much more.
We're here to chat with you about the tough stuff, the everyday stuff, and everything in between. So grab your emotional support water bottle, I know we have ours, find your comfiest chair, or keep your eyes on the road, and let's get into it. Are you ready, Mom?
Absolutely. Join us as we mind our hearts and hopefully make minding yours a little easier. Welcome back.
Welcome back to Mind Your Heart.
Yes, welcome to Mind Your Heart. I'm Trina Devery.
I'm Emily Drayless.
And we are a mom and daughter who never introduce ourselves because we just never think about people finding us on
I
episode
feel like we
30.
do. We just haven't these past couple. Normally I will say like I'm Emily and then you'll say I'm Trina. But the last two episodes we did not introduce ourselves.
Yeah,
But we also have an intro.
that's true. I always forget that.
Yeah.
All right. So today we are going back to an oldie but a goodie. Like people seem to enjoy,
Am I the asshole?
yeah, am I the asshole Reddit responses. So you want to go first?
Sure. Okay. So this first one says, am I the asshole for refusing to move in with my boyfriend because his daughter doesn't like me?
My first response is no, you are not.
All
What do
right.
you think?
I would probably say no too. I mean, like if you're not feeling comfortable enough to move in with someone, I don't think you should.
Yeah, I agree. And if the child doesn't like you, that's a problem.
Yeah. That's a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Okay. So I, 27 female, have been with my boyfriend, who's 32, for a little over 2 years. He's amazing in so many ways, kind, supportive, and we've seriously talked about marriage and building a future together. He has two kids from his previous relationship, a 9-year-old son and a 12-year-old daughter. His son and I actually get along really well. He's sweet and playful and seems happy to have me around. But his daughter, not so much. She is never outright disrespectful, but it's been clear from day one that she doesn't like me. She avoids me during visits, refuses to engage in the conversation, giving one-word answers, and will flat out leave the room if I sit down to watch a movie or join a family activity. I've tried to be patient because I understand that I'm the new person and that kids can struggle with these situations, especially when it comes to loyalty to their mom. I've really done my best. I've never forced her to bond with me. I always give her space, and I've tried inviting her to do things like go out for ice cream, shopping, or little crafts, all of which she's declined or just sat through awkwardly. I even backed off when her dad suggested family trips because I didn't want to push and make things worse. Now, here's the issue. My boyfriend recently asked me to move in with him and the kids. He framed it as a natural next step in our relationship and said it would help blend the family. But I said no. I told him gently but honestly I don't feel comfortable moving in a home where one of the kids clearly doesn't want me there. I said I think it would only create more tension and resentment, especially if his daughter feels like I'm suddenly invading her space full time. He did not take that well and told me I'm letting a child dictate our future and that if I truly loved him, I would be willing to make this work and not run away at the first challenge. He said his daughter just needs more time and that living together would help her get used to me faster. Even some of my friends are saying I might be overthinking this, that kids always warm up eventually, and that I'm being too cautious. But in my gut, I feel like moving in now when things are already strained would just make everything worse, not better. I don't want to end up being resented in my own home.
I have a lot to say to this.
Okay.
Okay. First of all, I do not think she's overreacting. I think she's following her instincts, and her instincts are not to make this move. I also think that there's two things, or several things. First of all, the child is 12, so 12-year-olds are a pain in the asses. Also, this is a girl who probably does feel like some loyalty towards their mother. And if they love or like this girl, this woman, then they're somehow betraying their mom. So
Hmm.
I do think that happens, and it's a totally understandable feeling for kids. It's
Yeah.
very confusing. The other thing that I think is that the things that she's asked the child to do, it sounds like she's doing some good things, but
Yeah.
the things she's asked the child to do, does the child like those things, or are those
I was
just
thinking that
things,
too.
yeah, that they picked? Because the thing is you want to get comfortable with the child's interests,
Yeah.
what interests her, and ask to do things around that. Um,
Hmm.
so that's one thing. And then the other thing is that I don't, I can see why if he were proposing, if they were getting married, that might be different because in that case, there would be more of a willingness to work it out
Yeah.
because it's permanent. And in the
Hmm.
child's mind, it's like, I don't know if I can trust you to stick around.
Yeah.
That's not the woman's fault. That's because of the dad's decisions
Yeah.
and how you sometimes feel as a child of divorce. You're not
Hmm.
sure you can count on that person to hang in there with you when it gets hard.
Yeah.
Um, and they've already seen that they give up when they, and even if it was a great divorce, even if it was meant to be a divorce, it still feels like I don't know if I can trust you in relationships.
Yeah.
So I think that those feelings need to be taken in consideration. And I think the dad is minimalizing the daughter, which is a problem, and that's not going to get better by just ignoring her feelings. I
Yeah.
don't think gets to tell them how their relationship progresses. I do
Yeah.
agree with that, but I don't think that just acting like she's just going to get over it is not the answer. And if she had a more permanent reason to be moving in, then that might seem like, okay, this is our next step. And also the daughter can be included and part of the process for that to
Mhm.
happen. So that's what I think.
Yeah, I w would agree. I feel like there's like a lot of different like levels to this.
Mhm.
Like, I don't think that really anyone's the asshole, I would say.
No.
Like, I would
Mhm.
just say that this is just like one of those things where there's like a lot of it's just nuanced. Like, it's not just one thing or the other. Like, there's just a lot of gray. I definitely was thinking when I was reading about like the activities and stuff, I'm like, what does the daughter like to do? Like, have you like put yourself into like her activities instead of trying to get her to go into activities with you? Like, because like she's already like being placed in a situation where she's having to go into other people's situations, whereas like you need to kind of meet her where she's at. So like I think that's one thing. I do like I wonder, but I also am like we don't know anything about like this kid. We don't know anything about like the boyfriend. Like there are other like I'm like were her parents ever together? Like maybe I don't even know if they were r previously married. It's just says from a previous relationship. So maybe the kid's like
Oh, okay.
has
So
stuff
yeah.
from like not having really anyone stick around. Like there, I just feel like there's a lot of things here, and
Yeah,
like
because is the
taking,
mom, I mean, she did say something about like th feeling whatever about the mom, but
yeah,
like, is there like a time sharing situation? And could she, in most places there are, so could she, spend the night, be there a lot when the
yeah,
kids aren't there, like
hmm,
focusing on their relationship and then easing in when the kids are
yeah,
there?
hmm. Yeah, so, and I don't think this person's doing anything necessarily like wrong. I think it's definitely a situation where you just kind of have to like figure it out over time. So, and I think that when you're not ready to move in with someone, you like don't. Like, you don't need to like rush that. Like, clearly there's also it's not like there's a rush for them to have kids. Like he's got two kids. So like what's the point in rushing into moving in if like both parties are not comfortable with that?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. All
So
right.
not the asshole.
Yep, not the asshole. All right. So this is another one that has to do with a child. Now I'm just reading just the headline first, right? And then going into
Yeah.
the
Hmm.
All right, so am I the asshole for not taking an 11-year-old's word for it?
Um,
Absolutely not.
no, yeah.
11-year-olds lie. And so, yeah, no, you're not the asshole for that. I mean, they might not be liars. They could be like honest, wonderful child, but I don't think you have to completely take their word for it.
I feel like I need context because I'm
Okay.
like, are you just deciding to not believe them because it helps you out, or like, what's the deal here?
Okay. So my 20, my 20 dad made some friends when he studied abroad. Is this person 20, I think?
Yeah.
Um, One of them is a visit in our country right now. One of them is on a visit in our country right now. He made some friends. Let me start this again. My dad, I don't know what the 20 is. Maybe it's the person. My dad made some friends when he studied abroad. One of them is on a visit in our country right now, and he brought his 11 or his daughter, who's 11, with him. He said if I asked her to our national museum, since it's good for kids, to practice some art appreciation, I said, sure. She wasn't very enthusiastic about it, though. When we were waiting for the opening time, she pointed at a nearby cafe and asked if I could buy her a cup of coffee, saying it's the least I could do before making her spend 2 hours looking at some boring stuff. I hesitated and she said her dad lets her drink latte, so I called him just to check. He said yes before asking, did you think my daughter is a liar?
Oh,
Well, that's a little extreme. I mean, and then he's like, and then I didn't know what to say. It didn't occur to me that that was what I was insinuating when I was expressing my doubt. I just wanted to be sure. Ended up buying her oat milk latte, her preference, before taking her on a tour. Don't know if I was too anxious, but when I took her back to the hotel, her dad seemed kind of frosty towards me.
that's stupid.
Isn't
No,
it
not
stupid?
the asshole. You should ask the parent when it's an 11-year-old about coffee. First of
Yeah.
all, who's letting their 11-year-old drink coffee? I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I would have
Yeah.
been like, no. And also, like, why are you talking to me like it's the least you can do? Like, damn.
Yeah. I mean,
This child sounds a little bit like a brat, and the person visiting sounds a little bit like a jerk.
yeah. Yeah.
So, screw the 11-year-old and screw the visitor and
Yeah.
go to the
How about
museum
you
by
go,
yourself and buy your own latte.
yep, I'm just going to take you right on back to our
Yeah.
dads and they can deal with
Yeah.
you and see you later. So, yeah, and because this person's a 20-year-old. They don't want to spend time with an 11-year-old that acts like a jerk.
Yeah.
So,
No
yeah.
kidding. And also, like, to me, I'm like, do you think my daughter's a liar? I don't know your daughter. You're
Yeah.
a visitor from a different
You're
country.
you're a stranger to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't
Sorry, I haven't gotten to know their patterns of whether they tell the truth or not in the span of 24 hours.
yeah.
That's so stupid.
That is stupid.
I would
Oh,
be like, it just sounds dumb, like to ask somebody that.
yeah.
I, yeah, no, not the asshole.
Yep, I
Maybe a
agree.
little dumb for taking a random person to the museum and expecting it to go really well, but
Yeah.
okay.
All right, your turn.
Am I the asshole for not allowing visitors in my home while I'm not around? No.
No.
Yeah, no. Okay. My husband and I recently moved our family to a new home. Literally 3 days ago. Boxes everywhere, nothing in order. During the transition, I needed some time to myself to clean the old place. My mom offered to babysit my baby at our new home while I was away. No issues with that. However, halfway through the day, I call to check on my baby and mom and hear other children screaming in the background. Confused, my mother tells me my brother-in-law, niece, and nephew came over to see me, but then discovered I wasn't home. So instead of leaving, they let themselves in for the rest of the day, several hours, without anyone that actually lives at the home present. When I communicated that my husband and I were not okay with my mom letting other people into the house while we're not home for a number of reasons, she got very defensive and said, well, they just walked in themselves. What am I supposed to do? Kick them out? Dot, dot, dot. Yes, in all caps. Anyway, we communicated the boundary with both brother-in-law and mom, but man, is this such a crazy thing to not want a bunch of people in your home when you're not around? Okay.
I mean, it is a little petty. It is your family member. It's not
Yeah.
random strangers off the street that she
Yeah.
just let into your house. So,
And
I
the
guess,
mom is like the grandma is still there.
yeah, yeah, exactly. The grandma's there. It's not like they're in there unsupervised.
Yeah,
Like
so
they're
it's
there
like
with the grandma.
yeah, the grandma who's is this not the grandma's children
Yeah,
also?
yeah. Like so, it's probably the grandma to her baby, and the grandma to the kids. So,
So who cares? To me, I'm
I mean,
like,
I
yeah,
understand that you don't really feel like you want people in the house when you haven't put it together yet. It's only been 3 days. Like, what I might be a little bit stressed out about that, but that's probably petty. But I might make me stressed out. But my brother or my sister-in-law or my brother-in-law or well, I don't have a brother-in-law anymore, but in the past, I mean, maybe I would have been like, could you have asked? But I definitely wouldn't.
this sounds like people that like often come visit because
Oh, that's true because
to
they
me, I'm
showed up.
like,
Yeah.
they just showed up and expected you to be there. Like it's not like they came with the intention of being like hee, like they're not
Yeah.
home. Like they came to come see you and then you just weren't there. And so, but then the grandma was there and they were like, all right, well, we'll just hang out until they get
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't seem like that big of a deal to me because in my mind, at least with the context that we have, these people visit with them often.
Yeah.
So it would be different if they were like, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law flew in all of a sudden and decided
Yeah.
to stay. Like then I'd be like, all right, that's
Yeah.
a little too
I
much.
agree. So you're right. It's probably someone that just stopped by and yeah, I don't and also it's not doing anything to her. She's not even there.
Yeah.
So unless she thinks they're making some kind of a mess or something, no, I think she's being a little ridiculous, but she did just have a baby, so she might not be thinking completely rationally.
Yeah.
Um,
People are
that
saying that they're not the asshole. Not the asshole, especially since there were kids involved and who knows what they'll get into. Oh, please.
these are your family members. These are your nephew.
Yeah. I think I'd be less bothered, but still bothered, if it was just adults that stayed to say hi to your mom for a bit since she was already there. But I don't want a bunch of kids running around my new place like that when I'm not there. And I'd still be annoyed about adults staying to visit. Okay, so that's certainly an opinion.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
I disagree with them. I think she's being
a lot of people are saying, like, not the asshole. Like, why do people think this is okay? Not the asshole. This was unacceptable as hell.
This is their freaking family. This is your
So
family
extreme.
members.
Yeah. Mom is there with the baby and you don't allow her to have visitors? Family? I'm not sure I understand that part. Does your brother-in-law know you don't want drop-ins? And if they stopped in to see you, but your mom was there, I'm not sure I understand why you'd care if they visited with her and the baby. Not calling you the asshole, just sort of curious what your reasons why your mom can watch your baby but not have family there. Yeah, I agree with
I
that.
agree. Yeah, I agree with that person. Yeah. All right. Well,
Yeah, but the rest of the comments are like they're siding with her, like being like, "This is crazy that these people came over."
maybe they missed that it was family members.
I feel like it was pretty
People
clear.
often don't read to comprehend. I mean, that's the whole point of reading, but it feels like they don't sometimes. So
All
I'm pretty
right.
sure that people just skip right over details and they don't even see them. Um,
Okay.
that's what I'm gonna say. That's why so many people responded that way. All right, ready for another one?
Yeah.
Am I the asshole for making my sick husband clean up his vomit? Um,
A little
yes and
extreme,
no.
but
Yeah.
like I don't know.
I mean, cleaning up
Like,
vomit is not fun and it
yeah.
is very gross and it makes me feel
But
like
you
gagging.
said sickness and health, so
I what?
I mean, for this person, they said in sickness and in health when they.
Yeah, you're right, but it's gross. I mean, like,
Oh, I'm with you. I wouldn't want to
I
clean up
didn't even
vomit,
clean up
but
your vomit. Like, your dad cleaned up the vomit. I took care of the emotional part and he took care of the sheets and the cleaning.
yeah, I feel like I'm like, I don't think this person is an asshole, but I also, I don't know the
It's
situation.
not very nice to
Yeah,
make
it's
clean
not
up their, yeah.
necessarily like the most helpful when they're
Yeah.
sick.
It is kind of jerky. I don't know about an asshole, but All
Yeah,
right, so this is throwaway. Why does it say throwaway?
I have no idea.
I don't know either. So my husband has been dealing with a stomach bug of some kind the last few days. Vomiting, diarrhea, nausea, etc. I've been taking care of him and the house and the kids by myself because of it, which I hate when people do
I
misspelling.
know.
Because
Put it in Grammarly first, people.
yeah, because of it, which is a lot of work with two and under and two with two
Under
under
five.
five. Oh gosh, yeah. That's understandable.
Yeah.
This morning, my husband wanted to try eating something, so I made him toast as requested. As he was on the couch nibbling on his breakfast, I was making our toddlers their breakfast and
Nibble.
feeding them when I hear him violently gagging in the other room. This is like Jackson, he's
Yeah.
been hanging out in the living room during this entire illness. So he had a trash can there in case he had to puke or whatever. I called out to him to remember to use it or go to the bathroom if he thought he was going to vomit. He
Yeah.
didn't listen and threw up all over the floor, got some on the couch.
What an idiot.
What an idiot. I agree. I mean, come on. Husband then comes into where I'm feeding our kids and says he's gonna go to our room so I can clean up his puke. Yeah, no, no.
Oh, no, she's
I
definitely.
said absolutely not. Was really no reason for him to vomit all over the floor. So he needed to take care of
Yeah.
it. I I had been cleaning it up all weekend already without complaining when he was getting sick by surprise. But he has plenty of time to
Yeah, I don't
prepare for
understand
this.
that either. Like
Yeah.
when people are like, "Oh, I threw up," I'm like, "You feel it
Yeah.
coming."
You do. You definitely do. If you have like a spontaneous throw up situation, like that's a little bit
But you
different.
don't go, "Okay, peasant wife, clean
Yeah.
up my vomit while you take care of our two children."
Yeah. So, she said, okay, so husband is now all mad at me for not showing him a good bedside manner.
You're not a
So I
nurse.
know she's not the nurse. So am I the asshole. Update. Oh, she hasn't. There's an update.
Oh, okay.
So never expected so many comments. Feel very validated. I have to see what they are. All day, my husband kept making snide comments at me about not being a good wife, and anyone who cares about their loved one wouldn't punish them when they're sick. This guy is an idiot. So I
Yeah.
showed him your comments and it finally shut him up. I've received many DMs and there's been a lot of comments about hubby possibly getting me and our children sick. Don't worry, the rest of us are okay. Husband likely got food poisoning from eating food that had been sitting in his work break room for nearly 24 hours.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So this guy's just a moron.
Yeah. Someone said you had to remind him to vomit in the bin or bathroom.
Yeah. Yeah. Literally. Men, when they're sick, are the worst.
They
They're
are the worst.
such babies.
Such babies. Oh my gosh. Such babies. I swear. I'm dying.
I
That's
know.
that was
I remember when
um
Jackson used to be sick and he'd be like,
yeah. He
and I'm
is the
like,
worst.
you're giving me a headache. My illness from you being sick is worse.
He is definitely the all-time worst. Worse
Yeah.
than his dad. He is so bad. And
Yeah.
he gags and throws up so violently and loud.
Yeah. 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 No,
So
Jake's
she
pretty
says,
bad when
not
he's sick too.
usually, but I could see him from the dining room just sitting there gagging, bent over, not reaching for his trash can, so I could see what was going to happen.
Oh my gosh. So he was like preemptively like gagging. He wasn't even actively throwing up and then he just decided to vomit on the couch and the floor. Yeah, I would be like, clean up your own vomit, idiot.
Oh, this person was like, they always help their husband with their mess and their sickness. Um, Aside from bodily waste, I'd pretty much instantly be helping to clean it up. To be honest, I'd probably help him even with his puke, but not if he acted entitled like that. Nope.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh, not today.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then this other person was like, F that. If he can raise his hands to his mouth to eat toast, he can use those same hands to reach for a bucket to puke up in.
Yes. No kidding.
All right. So she is not the asshole.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Do you want to do one more or you want to be done?
Um, we can do, what do you want?
I don't have any more pulled up.
Oh, you don't? Oh,
Mm-mm.
okay, then we're done.
Okay.
All right, because that was my last one, right?
Yep.
I did too. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Um,
both do.
we did?
Yeah.
Oh, you went first, you're right. Okay. All right, we're done. Well,
Wow, everybody
hopefully,
was not the asshole.
I know.
I feel like that doesn't happen very often.
No, it really doesn't. Most of the time, the people are an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, just a little bit of an
If you have
asshole.
to ask, sometimes you are,
Yeah.
but not in this case. So
Yeah.
all these people felt guilty and they didn't really
For
mean.
no reason. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
All right.
Well.
Well, congratulations, all of you not assholes.
Oh, well, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.